Okie dokie, hello, it's Dennis. I'm just quickly doing a sort of a tech review. This is part of the scripts I've got for the Remembrance of the Daleks review. I just want to do a read through of the script for episode 1 so far, just see how things go. And yeah, I look like a mess. I really need to have a shave and all that, but meh, whatever. So let's start with the script and see how this goes. Hello there, I'm Dennis. I draw art for money. Yeah, I really need to work on a better opening. Anyway. Not too long ago, on the Ask That Guy with the Glasses forums, there was a thread about doing a whole string of reviews based on the show. Based on what show? Doctor Who, you freaking moron. Okay. Based on... Derp. Well, already we found one error. I was thinking based on... Okay, try that again. Not too long ago on the Ask That Guy with Not too long ago on the Ask That Guy with the Glasses forums, there was a thread about doing a whole string of reviews based on the entire run of Doctor Who, past and present. While I have been working on my own set of videos in the past, I checked it out to see what all the fuss was about. When I saw that one of my all-time favoured storylines from the show was on the list, I put my name forward immediately. Now, for those few who actually saw and commented on my review of the first Dalek story, I thank you very much. Your feedback and criticism was very much appreciated. And while the actual Dalek retrospective project is kinda shelved, you can consider this one of the later episodes with a different title sequence if it makes you feel any better. So, with that out of the way, where do I begin with Doctor Who? I love this show. I've been a fan of Doctor Who since I was about 3 or 4 years old during the last run of the original show. I was raised on the VHS tapes, the classic black and white adventures, the campy 70s stuff, and the garish ludicrousness and at times grim 80s stuff too. That sentence doesn't quite work, does it? Okay, so I was raised on the VHS tapes, the classic black and white adventures, the campy 70s stuff, and the garish, ludicrous, and at times grim 80s. Okay, and the garish and grim. Garish and grim works. Okay. Garish and grim 80s show 2. But there's one story that really struck a chord with me. That one which would go on to this day to be my absolute favourite story of classic Doctor Who ever. Remembrance of the Daleks. Now, just a quick caveat, I'm not going to pull my punches here. Yes, I love this episode so much that back in primary school for our own games day, I brought it in on tape to watch with people. Yeah, that went well, I can tell you. But that doesn't mean this run of episodes is by any means perfect. I'll be giving you my own honest opinions about the story, where it stands in the overall history of the show, and also how it gives the whole Time War storyline of the new show a little more depth. So, let's dig into Doctor Who, Remembrance of the Daleks. We begin with an opening of the Earth from space. Various sound bites and familiar noises are heard, giving us a basic 1960s time frame. As the camera pulls back, however, we can see that the Earth is being observed by a large alien craft. Cue a few sound bites in between. Yeah, I'm not going to do the whole... yeah, basically, these are all the individual segments that are going to be put on the review, and... yeah, I'm gonna have video footage in between all this stuff, and this is like commentary over the video footage, so I'm gonna use the footage itself to give some of the plot and all that, so yeah. Then we cut to the opening titles, and I have to admit that despite some of the lame CG, which looked a little goofy when I was a kid, this is still one of my favourite opening titles ever. The music has this weird alien twist, which is just so unashamedly 80s. What? I like electro music. Anyway, the visuals are pretty nice too, aside from the TARDIS and asteroids rendered on what looks like freeware. And thus the story is introduced as Remembrance of the Daleks by Ben Aaronvich. Nice name, sounds like someone went to the dentist. Oh, and thanks very much for the plot reveal in the title, guys. Who wants to bet how long it takes? Fuck off, clock. Who wants to bet how long it... Fucking 12 o'clock as well. It's going to be the longest possible chime from that phone clock thing, whatever. Doesn't matter. Who wants to bet how long it takes for the Daleks to show up and how it's going to be treated as a huge surprise, despite the fact that we now know it involves Daleks? 12 minutes. Huh, okay. So, we open up with an establishing shot of the Cold Hill School. Yes, that very same school that Susan went to and the Doctor kidnapped Ian and Barbara from. No idea what I'm talking about? It's okay, it's never really made essential to the plot. Let's just say that this story has a few continuity tie-ins to past stories. So, it's a nice day in 1960s England and perfect weather for the Doctor's ace. So, it's a nice day in 1960s England and perfect weather for the Doctor's companion Ace to be walking around with a frigging boombox almost as big as her. This is Ace. She's one of the more iconic companions of the Doctor's from down the line and a rather complicated character, all things considered. However, she's also supposed to be 16, despite looking that Sheila. However, she's also supposed to be 16, despite looking like she's in her early 20s, and as such ends up doing plenty of stupid every now and then. Case in point. After chiding her on not blending in with the local environment, the Doctor proceeds to check out a suspicious black van parked right outside the school. Huh. Moving on, the Doctor is curious about the sophisticated for the time technology Ace's complaint. Oh, okay. Moving on, while the Doctor is curious about the sophisticated for the time technology, yeah, I need to add a bit more to that the van has technology. Okay, moving on, while the Doctor is curious about the sophisticated for the time technology the van seems to be sporting, that's a long sentence, Ace is complaining... What, the Doctor? Yeah, it'll do. Ace is complaining of hunger and boredom, so the Doctor sends her off to get something to eat while he climbs up on top of the van and proceeds to do... this. So while Ace tries to get served, she blends in perfectly with her 80s jacket, giant boombox, and steel bass served in the cafe. So while Ace tries to get served in the cafe, she blends in perfectly with her 80s jacket, giant boombox, and steel baseball bat, catching the attention of the cafe's only other customer, whose facial expression I love, by the way. Instant flirting begins, and the two strike up a conversation. Meanwhile, the Seventh Doctor, a guy who apparently thinks psychic paper is for wimps, casually jumps in the back of the van and strikes up a conversation with a slightly stunned scientist, Professor Rachel Jensen. Apparently there's some weird fluctuations in magnetism or something, I don't know. Basically, the military are there trying to quietly figure out just what the hell is going on. Anyway, she gets a worrying call on the radio and shouts for her travelling companion, Ace's new boyfriend, to stop flirting and get in. The Doctor and Ace tag along and we are introduced to a dead soldier. We find ourselves again in a familiar location, the Foreman junkyard, and the military are busy trying to seal off the area. The doctor examines the body and explains that he was shot with a projected energy weapon. While warning the military leader, Group Captain Gilmore, extra soldiers arrive and move to take the deceased soldier. However, we then get a POV shot featuring some rocking synth music that proceeds to open fire on everything in sight. Obviously, the military open fire in return on their as yet unseen attacker, but are unable to confirm a kill. While Professor Jensen is impressed and shocked at seeing the death ray, Gilmore orders the whole shed be blasted with ATRs. Fly. So, while the professor is impressed and shocked by seeing the death ray, Gilmore orders the whole shed blasted by ATRs, anti-tank rockets, which the doctor instantly warns will be a waste of ammunition. We get a brief argument between the Doctor and Gilmore where the Doctor hints at what's inside the shed, which may have built tension if the frigging title didn't ruin that for us. So, after blowing up the shed, the soldiers relax and Mike radios to report in. So, after blowing up the shed, the soldiers relax and Mike radios to report in. No, radios in sounds better. Radios in to report. However, the epic synth music is back and Mike apparently knows to duck just before the shot is fired, narrowly missing being blasted. The soldiers then blast the hell out of the burned out shed again, and after waiting for a suitably awesome intro sting, we see our first shot of the Dalek. That kind of wobbles into view and is also apparently blind as it doesn't seem to hit anyone else. It is on fire though, and that's badass. The Doctor asks Ace for some of her home-cooked explosive that she carries around. Yeah, apparently Ace has an interest in chemistry, mainly the blowing up shit side of chemistry. Oh, those wacky 80s kids. So, after what is possibly the most awesome taunt from the show, the Doctor lures the Dalek into the path of her explosives and blows it to hell. While the soldiers are busy trying to figure out what in the hell just happened, the Doctor and Ace casually steal their van. We then get a basic potted history of who the Daleks are and what they're all about. The Doctor also hints at why they are now in the 1960s. Meanwhile, back at their base, Gilmore is introduced to one of Mike's associates, a Mr. Ratcliffe, who has volunteered a few of his men to assist them in their duties. We also get our two female scientists discussing their next course of action, as well as the Doctor's knowledge of these Dalek things. The Doctor and Ace are currently checking out the school from the opening, running into the headmaster, who believes he's there for a job interview. Believes the Doctor is there. Believes the Doctor. Believes the Doctor is there for a job interview. And yes, that girl from the opening is there again. Creepy. The Doctor wants to examine the school, but not the headmaster, I think I typed that wrong, but the headmaster is naturally a little unwilling to let a stranger wander around until his Bluetooth starts acting up, and he lets them have fun. Okay, this is going to be a long sentence. Creepy. The Doctor wants to examine the school, but the headmaster is naturally a little unwilling to let a stranger wander around the place. Wander around unchecked. Until, that is, his Bluetooth... No. The Doctor wants to examine the school, but the headmaster is naturally a little unwilling to let a stranger wander around unchecked, until his Bluetooth starts acting up and he lets him have full access. Because that's not suspicious at all, is it? We then see Radcliffe and a few of his men moving the blasted Dalek remains onto a van and out of sight, revealing two unconscious or dead soldiers. Oh dear. Wandering around the school, we get more exposition about the Daleks and the Hand of Omega, as well as a few bits of fan service with the book of the French Revolution left. Oh. Okay, we're gonna get through this. Wandering around the school, we get a bit more exposition about the Daleks and this mysterious Hand of Omega, as well as a few bits of fan service with the book of the French Revolution that Susan left behind in the previous story, and so on. Excuse me. They notice the landing pattern of a spaceship in the middle of the courtyard and... oh man. They notice the landing pattern of a spaceship in the middle of the courtyard, and the Doctor pokes a few jabs at humans and their flaws. We then see Ratcliffe is in fact working with the Daleks. A rather suspicious figure is giving him orders, and although we don't see their face, it's clearly not a regular Dalek. I wonder who that could be. While crawling around the cellar, the Doctor and Ace come across a suspicious-looking device. A transmat platform which, upon their discovery, begins to deposit a cream and gold Dalek. Now you may be wondering about the different-looking Dalek design, folks, but don't worry, all shall be explained. After deactivating the transmat and scattering the half-formed Dalek to the four winds, they are then attacked by the operator, who was out taking a leak or something, I don't know. Anyways, they instantly head for the stairs and run for it. The redundant statement is redundant, what the hell? Anyways, they instantly run for the stairs. Is better, they instantly run for the stairs. Yeah. They head for the stairs and run for it. Stupid. Okay. Anyways, they instantly run for the stairs. Ace, however, Anyways, they instantly run for the stair. Fuck me. Okay. Now, you may be wondering about the different looking Dalek design, folks, but don't worry, all shall be explained. After deactivating the transmat and scattering the half-formed Dalek to the four winds, they are then attacked by the operator, who was out taking a leak or something, I don't know. Anyways, they instantly run for the stairs. Ace, however, is intercepted by the headmaster, and he applies a rather ungentlemanly move to her area. She's apparently 16, by the way. Just saying. So while the Doctor is busy... Motherfucker. So while the Doctor is busy hammering on the door, he hears a worrying sound behind him, and we see for the first time a Dalek actually hovering up the stairs. Yes, they do it all the time in the new show, but back in the 80s, this was frigging major. So the episode ends with the Dalek staring the Doctor down as it flies up the... So the episode ends with the Dalek staring the Doctor down as it flies up, about to blast him a new one. Part 2 opens with Ace recovering from the headmaster's very bad touch and applying one of her own. Ace. Not just a clever name. She then saves the Doctor, and despite wanting to leave, the Doctor drags the prone headmaster out of the way, revealing that his mind has been tampered with, before the Dalek on the stairs finally decides to blow the door and enter the room. After telling the headmaster to grow a pair and repair the transmat, the Dalek operator goes off to make sure no one else tries to get near it. Meanwhile, the convenience fairy has smiled on the Doctor once again, and this time she's brought a van filled with anti-tank rockets. But how does the Doctor manage to grab one of these destructive weapons without his psychic paper? He just signs for it. Yeah, that was disturbingly easy. While Ace and the Doctor return to the school to blow up the transmat, the operator shows up and proceeds to shoot the place up. That is two ups. Let's see. While Ace and the Doctor return to the school to destroy the transmat. Yeah. Okay. While Ace and the Doctor return to the school to destroy the transmat, the operator shows up and proceeds to shoot the place up. Oh my god. So we've got blow up, show up, shoot up. Fuck! All in one sentence. The only way is up. Okay. Destroy the transmat. The operator appears. Okay. While Ace and the Doctor return to the school to destroy the transmat, the operator appears and proceeds to shoot the place up before Ace blows its head off with a rocket. Badass. Gilmore and the rest of his team show up and the Doctor begins to rant about how his plan is getting out of control. He then wanders off to check on things, leaving Ace in the care of the Professor and Mike. Okay, and that's all I've got so far with the storyline. Got a bit more. And then we're going to do the closing. So, mild spoiler alert, this is sort of like how I'm going to close the review after we've done the basic storyline. Yeah, I got shit in my mouth. So there you have it. That was Remembrance of the Daleks. This story shows Sylvester McCoy's Doctor at his best. Dark, manipulative, cold-blooded, and dangerous as hell. Remember that opening from A Good Man Goes to War, where the Doctor wipes out an entire cyber fleet just to prove a point? Yeah, this is the place that comes from. The only real protagonist in the story is the Doctor himself, the chess master. Everything of importance that happens in this story, save for the occasional screwing around by neo-Nazis and random humans, is all to his plan. Yes, people die and he instantly regrets his part in the whole thing, but from the word go, the die has already been cast. In fact, what I find awesome about this is the fact that the die was cast way back in the original pilot episode in 1963. The Doctor's only here in this story to tie up loose ends and make sure things are going to plan. Which brings up a pretty valid point. If the Doctor set all this up back in his first body, before he met the Daleks, then why does he have no clue who they are a few episodes later in his timeline? Simple. The Time Lords. While I did mention the Doctor acts like the puppet master in this, it doesn't exactly ring true. The real movers and shakers in this story are the Time Lords. After the events in Genesis of the Daleks, watch it now, damn it, After the events in Genesis of the Daleks, which you need to watch, destabilized Dalek history and turned them from a mighty unified empire into bickering segmented factions, they send the Doctor in to finish the job. They hand his first regeneration, the Hand of Omega, and ask him to store it somewhere and leave. Then they drop his seventh incarnation a nod and he goes along without a single complaint. This story is the Doctor and the Time Lords trying to once and for all wipe the Daleks out forever. Skaro is roasted. Both factions seem to be finished and even Davros is apparently destroyed. And to some extent this works. The Daleks never again appeared until 2005, although the fact that the show itself had been cancelled played a massive part in that. This story shows just how much both the Doctor and the Time Lords have come to hate and secretly fear the Daleks, and what they are willing to do to get rid of them once and for all. Of course, we know in hindsight that things are never that easy, and when the Daleks did return, it was with a weapon. Fuck! Damn it! Of course, we know in hindsight that things are never that easy, and when the Daleks did return, it was with a vengeance. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show, and a very special thanks to the people of the That Guy with the Glasses and their website. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show, and a very special... You know, it's 12:20 and I've not had any breakfast yet. I've been working on this all day, motherfuck. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show, and a very special thanks to the people of That Guy with the Glasses and their forums for the kind words and support. I'll see you again soon in my next review, Half-Life. Until then, I'm Dennis. I draw stuff. We're done here. So yeah, that's the script for everything so far. The opener and the closer needs work, and obviously I'm still working on the episode storyline analysis and all that, but yeah, pretty pleased with how things are going so far. If you have any opinions or whatever, feel free to drop me a message in the comments on the forum thread. Thanks for watching.